Hello, welcome to Turkish Drop tutorial part 2 with Amaria. So if you are watching this, I'm assuming you have watched my whole first other video on how to do strengthening and preparation, and now it's been 6 months at least, and now you know that you're strong enough to be able to attempt the Turkish Drop in a faster, more performance style setting. So one important thing that I want to cover in this part 2 is how to kind of set yourself to make sure you end up doing this in a pretty way and we're not floundering around. So step 1, we want to make sure our crotch is always going to end up facing the back or away from the camera. So that means if I'm doing a Turkish drop and I'm spinning, spin, before I fall or do this Turkish drop, I'm not going to stop and look at the audience. I'm going to look at the back of the stage. So that means that when I'm turning and spinning, I'm spotting the back. So that way I don't end up going like with my crotch to the front. There's a couple reasons for this, but best practice in general with floor work is that you would want your crotch to be facing the side or the back. That way if you have any issues with maybe your skirt, these are very fun doing a full skirt. In fact, I love a full skirt with like double slits. So the last thing I would want to have happen is that I'm doing fast and then I fall to the front and my skirt ends up falling to the side and I've now given the whole audience my whole crotch. So we want to avoid doing that. So when you're spotting for this, you're going to start your turn, looking to the back, 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 back. Now you're here, now you can do your drop. The other piece that I want to cover in doing a Turkish drop as well is where your knees and your alignment are right before you do your drop. So we don't want to be in the middle of a spin and have our ankles and our feet like in a funny position and then try to drop on top of it. Because what will happen is you'll end up pulling things. So for me personally, I will turn, I'm spotting the back, so turn, stop for 1 second, split second, then do my drop. So that way I know right in that split second that my feet, my ankles, everything are pointing the direction that I'm going to fall, so that way I fall in alignment. This is part of the reason why you have to have all these muscle memories built up in the fall, getting ready for it. So that way whenever you do that split second stop and you fall, everything is right. And then you come up and you're not injured. So as you can see, I kind of caught myself with my arms there. This is because I was doing it in kind of a slow motion style. All of that fall was controlled by my legs and my quads, as I talked about in the last video. So I did not use my arms, even though my arms went down. My arms were not stopping me or supporting me. I only used them for effect so you could see that my everything is in alignment. So let me show you this again, how I'm going to do this. So here I've done all of my dancing, spin, spin, spin. Now it's ready for the part of the music where I'm going to do my drop. So I look to the front, then I look to the back, where I know the back of the stage is, which in this case is this pink curtain. So I'm going to look at this pink curtain, turn, 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 stop, drop. Yes? And I can come. So one thing I really want to touch on is that while I said nothing should hurt, when I say nothing should hurt, I mean your knees shouldn't feel intense tension. Your hips should be nice and stretched out. I didn't feel any pain in my hips, no pain in my knees, no pain in my back, no pain in my shoulders or my chest. But what you will feel is tension on the tops of your feet. And this is going to hurt. You have to build up this pressure on your feet so that they're used to and aware of like the fact that you're going to land kind of on them. Your feet can take it. They should be able to take it. If you have a doubt that it might not be able to be strong enough, then again, as I've said in the other video, you should not be doing this movement. But see how I'm sitting on this floor like this. It's not that comfortable, really. It will hurt if I sit like this with all my weight on the tops of my feet for a long time. Of course, this is tile, it's gonna hurt. I have to be comfortable enough with the fact that this pain is there and know what the pain feels like before I decide I'm going to do a Turkish drop. There are things you can do to practice, of course, to kind of build up. You can do this, of course, on a padded surface. I do not suggest practicing 100% of the time on a tile floor. You should absolutely get some thin knee pads, just in case you make a mistake at some point and you land a little bit more on your knees. There's like these nice ones that have gel in the inside, and those are good. And you can also wear socks and fold them down, so that way you have something on top of your feet. But of course, you want them to be able to be open in the toes, so that way you can feel it when you turn. These are some things you can kind of do to like mitigate the pressure and pain that will be there on your body because of the kind of move this is in and of itself. Again, of course, you want to keep your head from hitting the ground, and you want to be really aware of what your body is doing. So when I did this Turkish drop just now, I am with my body enough to know that if something is about to like feel a little funny, I can kind of adjust it a little bit. And this is where the strength and flexibility comes into play. You have to have strength and flexibility to do this move. It's not an option. If you don't have the strength and flexibility, you can't do it, and you shouldn't be trying. So again, I can't say it often enough. Have to have the strength. You have to practice all of those other steps that I included to even begin to consider doing this and be comfortable with it. If you see my drop here is not as smooth as my little clips that I put in the beginning of my videos, it's because, of course, I'm doing a tutorial. I'm trying to be a little more slow and more controlled. But I'm also not hurting myself at all in this, which is important. If you can do it a little bit slower, like how I'm doing it here, and not have any pain, then you know that when you do it on stage, you're going to be okay as well. Also, in terms of turning, most of the time people have one way that they turn that is better than the other way. So I have one particular side I can turn on, and if I'm going to do a Turkish drop, I turn on that side. And if I find in my performance I'm turning the other direction, I'm not going to do a drop, because my muscle memory is how it is. And I could probably do it and be okay, but I'm not going to take a risk. My knees and my body are too important for that, and I can do some other movement that's like amazing instead. There's one song in particular in my sets that I like to transition from this into that, and I do a Turkish drop in the next song. It's like very dramatic in the introduction, so it's perfect to do a drop, like if I did a drop at the end and then go into the next one. It's beautiful. But if that doesn't work in the moment because of something happening in my body, or maybe I'm not warmed up, or maybe the floor is kind of odd or whatever, I have other movements I can do in the last moment. You know, spin, spin, spin. Oh, drop doesn't work here, you know, something different. So that way I'm not going to put myself into that type of a position. Another thing to consider as well in terms of preparation is if you're going to do this in a competition piece, for example, and you get there and you discover that the floor is a weird tile, or has sometimes the stages are made from metal pieces and they've got like big tiles with like trim on it, and sometimes they should put tape, but they don't always put tape, or it's like funny surfaces and stuff. If you don't have a chance to walk on the stage, see how it is, see how it feels, and there's a chance you're not so comfortable with this movement, again, don't do it. The most ideal practice stage type of environment would be wooden floors in a studio. So if you have a student hafla coming up and you want to kind of play around and try this move there, that would be a good place. Or if you have carpet that's nice and fluffy in your own house where you're already practicing, also a good option to like, try it out. But I will always stress this little pause. 1, 2, 3, pause, drop. Yes. Pause first. Even if you can see it in the video afterwards, oh, she paused first? Fine. It's so much better to have a little pause or a long pause. before you do something really major, then injure yourself. So please let me know if you have any other questions or any questions at all. If there's anything you feel I need to explain more, anything you're confused about, I can explain anything you would like in more detail. So let me know, and thank you for watching.